in America, what do you do when you have free time?
I have a lot of gardening that I do. I enjoy gardening. I grew up on a farm, so I like to play in the dirt. Also, my wife likes to garden, so we have a lot of garden. We grow in the summer most of our own vegetables. It's chemical free. We don't use chemicals. We don't use sprays. So we should have good, healthy food. I grew up on a farm. I'm always interested in the practices. Like when I come here, I like to watch the farming practices in Taiwan. It's really different than what we do at home. But some of your ideas are so much better than what we use.
Could you give us some examples, the differences?
Well, the size of the fields for one thing. Our fields are much bigger, but the real big difference is when you have vegetable garden, you have raised rows, water here, and then the bed of plants is up above there a little bit. That's a really good idea. You don't have to bend over so far to work in it. Here you can do that because the land is flat. Where I live, you couldn't do that. The land isn't flat. The water always runs downhill, and it's going to go downhill. But I like, that is a good idea. I like that. I was always curious, and I asked my wife this year, before they plant a rice field, they always flood the rice field, and it sits with water on it for maybe a week. And I asked her, why do they do that? Is it to get the dirt wet? She said, no, it's to kill the weeds. If water sits on top of the weeds for 4 or 5 days, the weeds rot, the seeds rot, they won't grow. I thought, that's a good idea. You don't need chemical spray to kill the weeds, water kills them. No, I didn't know that till this year. And I thought, no, that's why they do that. So I got a big, that was interesting. I didn't know that's why they flooded the rice field. It's to kill the, I thought it was just to get the ground wet.
I don't know it.
I didn't know it, but this year I asked her, why do they do that? Kill the weeds. Well, that makes sense. That's a good idea. So, if I didn't learn anything else about farming here this year, I learned that. It's not that I didn't know it. I know that water kills weeds. I never thought about it. They do it every year, and I never thought, what a simple way to get rid of the weed problem.
What vegetables do you grow in your garden?
Tomatoes, sweet corn, cucumbers, some potatoes. Everyone thinks Americans eat a lot of potatoes. I don't.
Why not?
I like rice better. I eat much more rice than I eat potatoes, but cucumbers, squash, many different kinds of greens, spinach, cabbage, lettuce, and my wife always has one row of the garden that's all Chinese greens. So when our garden starts growing, we eat every meal probably 4 different greens with each meal. I probably eat more greens than any American you ever saw. Most Americans eat more meat, I eat more greens. I'm still a little heavy. Nothing I can do about that. But we raise strawberries. We have strawberries in our garden. Also an American plant called a red raspberry. It's a fruit. You maybe have never seen it here. We have red ones. My wife likes the red raspberries. They make a great pie. But she raises, you know what asparagus is? No, asparagus. Long green plant. Cut it when it's about that high, about this big around. You see it in the markets here. It's usually expensive here. We have so much of it in our garden that we can't eat it. We can't keep up to it.
So you give them to your neighbors?
Give it to the neighbors. Most of the extra vegetables that we grow, we give to the neighbors, give to the family. My brothers and sisters are my mother and dad. And all my brothers and sisters and my mother and dad all have gardens too. There, in the area where we live, almost everybody has a garden. And it's not like here. Here, if you need fresh vegetables, you go to the market. It's not very far away. Where we live, wife and I want to go buy groceries, get a lot of groceries, it's a 1 hour drive one way to get to the store. Then it's a 1 hour drive to go home. So that's another reason I like it here. Everything here is so handy. In the morning, if you want to go to the market, it's 5 minutes on the scooter and you're there. And they have everything you need. You don't have to go to this store and then go to another store. It's all right at the market. And in the afternoon, if you don't want to cook, you go to the afternoon market. They have food already prepared there. You don't have to cook if you don't want to, and it's not expensive. Everything here is much handier. That's, but, being the store is a long ways away, that's why where I live, most people do have a garden. You don't have to go to the store every day.